Hello, everyone. This is Heidi with Downtown NorCal Live, and today I have the heartbeat of the community with me. I am going to be introducing you to Sebastian Onate, who is the editor of the Davis Enterprise. Before I do, I just want to say that I really wanted to do this interview for a while because the threads of our community, there are so many things we can focus on, but the hub of it all, the place that puts the information out, is the Davis Enterprise. So welcome, Sebastian.
Great, thanks for having me.
So I'll get started by I wanted to ask you in general, we're all seeing a lot of information shared online and through social media, and a lot of rumors. So what does a newspaper do to ensure accuracy and truth?
Well, we rely on our reporters for that. They're out there making connections with their various beats. Lauren Keene is at the courts and with law enforcement. Ann Turnus-Bellamy with the city council and city government and county government. Jeff Hudson works with the school district, and Caleb Hampton with UC Davis. And all of them have personal, long-standing connections with the various people in those departments. So when anything happens that involves one of those agencies, they know who to talk to get straight, accurate information on whatever's going on. And as it's happened for all this COVID news, it's really kind of worked out beautifully, because every one of those agencies is having to deal with one aspect of this or another, and they're plugged in and they're on it with those agencies.
Yeah, and they're doing a great job, by the way. So kudos to the staff. Everyone knows that online news has been competing, and various sources has been competing with the community newspaper for a long time before the crisis. How is it now, since the crisis, and how hard is it to physically produce a paper under shelter in place?
The actual production hasn't been impacted that much. We're considered essential. So, we print out of our Fairfield sister paper, the Daily Republic, and that operation has actually been the one thing that's gone totally smoothly. The bigger issue is the advertising's all dried up. We depend on local ad revenue for to power everything, and the restaurants aren't getting any business, the stores aren't getting any business, the services aren't getting any business, and so they're not buying ads. And the number of pages we have in our newspaper is a direct reflection of the number of ads that local businesses buy. And so our page count is way down. Mm-hmm. And we're having to stuff in all the breaking coronavirus news into fewer and fewer pages. That's the big obstacle.
I have noticed that you've decided to put a number of all the stories that are COVID related on outside of your paywall. So how does that also then impact your income?
Well, speaking of online versus print, it has driven a bump in online subscriptions, which is an important new stream of revenue in this brave new world. So in that respect, we're doing okay. And I think people have a sense, we're making these stories free because they're important, but then people then are showing their appreciation for what we do in that regard, and clicking on the various subscription links that we have.
So are you saying you've seen an increase in that since the crisis?
In that particular field, in terms of online subscriptions, online-only subscriptions have definitely seen a little bump since shelter in place began.
I always think of the paper as just, it's the newspaper, but it's also a small business. So I appreciate the point you're raising about the need to subscribe. What are the current offerings for subscriptions?
Oh boy, I don't know exactly what it is. If you go on Facebook, there's all sorts of promotions. Don't have it up in front of me right now, but yeah, I mean, you go to our Facebook page, and that's the best way. That's it, the Davis Enterprise on Facebook, and
Okay.
That's the best way to get them.
Great. I have seen that you are offering some specials, so I would
Mm.
encourage folks to do that and show your appreciation for the hardworking reporters who deliver the news. What do you want your readers to know about the paper and its operations that might be something we haven't thought about?
Oh, just that. Oh, that's a good question. I think the main thing is that there is a bit of a delay in between when rumors start flying and when we can confirm everything and get it on there. I think uh, like for example with the rumors broke about the nursing home in Woodland on Monday, I think it was, and then it took us maybe 4 hours to get something up there, and in that gap people were very anxious, but we can't go early, until we've confirmed everything, until we know what we got. So that's all. It's just patience. We are working on it. A lot of times people think we're not working on something when I know for a fact my reporter's on it and churning it out, and we just give us that little bit of time and we'll get it accurate.
Well, it's certainly important because the instance you're talking about, I was watching some of the social media speculation, and folks were certain they could identify the nursing home, and
Hmm.
some of them were just flat wrong.
Right.
And that creates a lot of anxiety. So a newspaper verifying and checking sources and doing the double check that you do
Hmm.
is very important. So thank you for that point. Um, in this crisis, one thing I've noticed is that people are really taking stock of what is important in their communities. And, small businesses have been a recipient of more gracious hearts and thoughts and hopes. Do you feel like there could be a silver lining, if there are any, for community newspapers as a result of the crisis?
I think the opportunity is there. I think people are definitely appreciating us. I would say Davis is very plugged in anyway, and it was a community that already supported us in a way that most other cities this size don't support their local newspaper. But I think definitely I've seen an uptick in just the kind notes and people thanking us. And when we took the paywall down for COVID stories, there was a very good feedback on that, and people were very appreciative of that in a way that they aren't usually. So the opportunity is there if we can harness it, if we can harness that goodwill. And I think in the bigger picture, newspapers are proving their worth nationally as an important community function, and we're the ones getting out the information, getting and telling you what's right, what's real, and what isn't. And I think people are appreciating us again. Whether that's going to be enough I mean, newspapers are getting hit hard too. So it's whether we can survive the current crisis. I think once we get to the other side, then it should be it should be a better situation once we're there, if we can get there.
And I guess that, I hate to end on a challenging note, but how do you feel about the ultimate health of the paper and going forward?
It's tough. We depend on the health of the rest of the business community downtown. So if well, not just downtown, but all of Davis, and if that's hammered, if those stores and restaurants go by the wayside, then we will, that's what we depend on. So like I said, we're opening up new revenue streams online. It's not, as far as I know, it's not enough to make up for that, but and I think ultimately the future is online, and that's where the money is going to come from. But for now, we're still depending on the small businesses, and so we need a thriving Davis business ecosystem to support us. That's always how it's worked. And so it's not so much the paper itself that I'm worried about. It's whether this pond that we're swimming in is still healthy after everything is done.
Yeah. Okay. Good points, all of that. So we've been talking with Sebastian Oñate, who is the editor of the Davis Enterprise. Sebastian, so thank you so much for joining us.
Sure thing. Thanks for having me.
And tomorrow I'll be meeting with the Downtown Business Association. So look forward